This is Noel Tate, one half of the Velvet Drapes from Trapped in a World, the Howard the Duck podcast, and you're listening to Capes and Lunatics.
Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on our comic book creator interviews, including our monthly Chichester chats with comic book legend D.G. Chichester, superhero movie brackets in our search for the worst comic book movie of all time, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Luca Perich, host of a Totally Turtle sports and gaming YouTube channel, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network.
Recording has started. My, little Luca has his own channel on YouTube.
Yep.
Good for Luca. In a world of Capes and Lunatics, gods and monsters, there are threats that arise far too large for any one hero alone to face. That is when must rise the Avengers, and their stories are told here in Avengers Declassified. I'm your host, Charlie the Professor Esser. And with me, as always, is the blue-eyed bomber from the Burger Pits,
Phil Podcast Perich.
Welcome, podcast, and welcome to Avengers Declassified. Tonight, we are discussing the 90s John Byrne era of Namor, issue 15 through 18.
Yes.
He's going through some stuff, my friend. Namor. Namor in a suit. I do have to appreciate Namor in a suit.
Yes.
And I find it opening, it's an interesting opening because he's going through the mist, you see. And that's not immediately apparent when you're opening it up, because when you come to the splash page, it's a rabbit in a snowstorm. It's actually a griffin in a snowstorm. What is the griffin, Phil?
He was like a mutated supervillain. I can't remember if it was the old, a mad scientist experimented on him, but I guess he just started turning more bestial, and I guess I didn't read this story, but I guess Namor must have taken custody of him at some point.
Yeah, because at this point he's very bestial.
Yes.
To the point where I'm wondering, is this like, Dragon Man's cousin, I mean, like, is this somehow an animated, but it's like used to be a person, once a man, as Cobra Commander once said. We get, and this is my first reference to Wakanda Forever, we get Jacqueline Fallsworth in this, who will be in Wakanda Forever. That is confirmed. We got our little MI-13 group there. And she's here. She has been revitalized, Phil, by the blood of the Human Torch. Again, just, this is where I say, Ultron cuts so many corners on the Vision. It's like he is so not as advanced as Phineas Horton. And I kind of feel like that's like the thing that makes Ultron so mad, is he realized that when he saw the original Human Torch's like biochemistry, and realized how much more advanced Phineas Horton was, a man who wound up as a TV repairman, because nobody wanted to buy a flaming android at the time. It's a great invention, but who wants one? What's my market? That's the problem. But no, it is just the fact that Phineas Horton's Horton cells, which is just, it is a mind-boggling idea. The idea of artificial cells that just, blood, bones, whatever you need.
Invented in 1939.
In 1939, this man. This is why he is like the, I don't know, man. There's at some point, some writer is going to really go back and say, we got to just say Phineas Horton was just the stranger. There's something weird with this guy. Anyway, so we do a flashback because an Atlantean scientist comes in to say, "Oh, dude, no, I know I don't have an appointment, but apparently Lady Dorma's alive." And we do a flashback to when the Queen of Lemuria. I do not think we're going to get Lemurians in Wakanda forever, although I can't guarantee that.
I don't know, because I believe, whatever kingdom Namor rules isn't going to be called Atlantis. I think they're going to name it something else, I thought I heard.
Well, but it's still in the Atlantic.
Yeah.
They can call it whatever they want to. It's just, like they say, and it's as they had made a point in that, which is that, he is called Namor.
Is it
by his enemies.
Is it still going to be in the Atlantic, or is it going to be closer to Wakanda?
Well, no, because it's South American. Because unless they're going to put it all the way in the Pacific. Although, I guess technically some maps of Wakanda do have it in the Pacific, like in West Africa rather than East Africa. So, I mean, I guess it's possible. But I was imagining this was like maybe Gulf of Mexico, coast of Brazil. But I guess but actually, no, you know what? They are saying Mayan, so that's Peru, so that is the Pacific. So maybe Atlantis is off the table because it's no longer in the Atlantic. Although maybe we'll find out about the Atlanteans over in the next kingdom. Anyway, we get the flashback. Apparently, the Queen of Lemuria had made herself get married to Namor, which I don't think that's binding.
Trickery.
I'm going to say tricking someone into marrying you. I don't think that has legal weight, even in undersea kingdoms.
Especially if you're when they use the name of the person you're pretending to be. Yeah, I'd say it's probably not binding.
Yeah, it seems like that's fraud at the best, and I think that's easily a no. But we see Dorma was captured and died of lack of water, and so then Namor goes to Cap because Cap's his parole officer. And he's doing this whole blustery thing where he's like, "Hey, just so you know, I'm going to Atlantis. I'm just telling you." Mm-hmm. It's like, no, man, you want my approval for you to go to Atlantis because, I'll give you your approval. Quit acting up. And then Namor, he puts Mr. Mars in charge. And I don't even, because they make this reference at the start of this, but everyone's like, why are you with this lady who was trying to have you killed to save her brother, and then her brother's in charge of it? It is somewhat ridiculous on every level. She then goes off. Oh, and of course, we get a nice Hank Pym moment there with the little smackadoo against his sister.
Yeah, with the brother,
Yeah. I mean, not an exact Hank Pym, but it's, don't hate your sister either. That's not nice. They wind up in Atlantis, start talking about, are the oceans warming because of that global warming that humans are always rattling about? Although what I find fascinating about this is that on one level, the idea of the surface world flooding due to the melting of the ice caps would be attractive to Namor. The fact that the warming oceans are killing his people should be much more of a concern.
Yes.
But I don't know what Namor's concern is. It's interesting. They refer to him as a mutant here. Was he outed as a mutant by this point?
I think they were referring to him as Marvel's first mutant at this point. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I'm always a little confused because just before this, well, not just, but earlier than this, they had an episode of the X-Men where Xavier tries to recruit Namor for the X-Men, thinking he's a mutant, and then decides he's not a mutant. He's a hybrid. And then they went back and made him a mutant again, so.
I think they did that in an early X-Men, too, where they thought Namor might have been, I think, was it Magneto, maybe? It's one side or the other thought he was a mutant, and I think at that point they had said he wasn't, but who knows?
Yeah. Then they changed it back.
Yeah.
It's like Ms. Marvel. And, unfortunately, see, here's the problem when you read books digitally, and you can see what the next few covers are. It kind of spoils yourself for what happens when Iron Fist shows up to punch out Namor.
Oh, yes.
Oh, goodness.
Because the Rand Corporation's doing something in the Savage Land.
Rand Meacham.
Yep.
There's a Meacham there. Those Meachams. And then we get the cutback. So here's my big question. Because we get the cutback to Shauna the She-Devil coming back to her jungle cottage to find Kazar. We cut back to Colleen Wing at Nightwing Detectives. Nightwing Restorations. They're doing architecture now? I don't know what that's about. But yeah, Nightwing. Now, just out of curiosity, does that predate Nightwing, or was that like contemporaneous with Nightwing, or was that an intentional gag on Nightwing?
No, he became Nightwing in '84, and I thought, unless they added it later, I thought this Nightwing, like their agency, was like K, Night with a K because Misty Knight, or was it a K? Oh.
So it was. I think it's just John Byrne playing a joke. As you do. And we go to the Savage Land. We interrupt Phoebe Mars, who's going to find her man, because she was a little upset about Namor running off, and he's like, "I can't tell you where I'm going or what I'm doing." Or he actually says, "I have to go back to Atlantis," and he's not saying, because maybe my ex-wife is alive, or the woman that I loved for years, and I kind of got to deal with this, and I know we're in a relationship. I know it's awkward, man, but maybe you got to be open with the people you're in love with, Namor. Not for nothing. Open up.
It's Namor.
Open your heart, Namor. Anyway, we come up with Mr. Meacham. And it's weird because every so often they drew Meacham's word bubbles to be like lightning bolts. And there was a part of me that was like, oh, is he going to be revealed to be an LMD? But we don't see that here. But we do see Danny Rand taunting him, being very evil. And then Namor escapes, fighting Excuse. We do see Misty Knight. And this is a point when Misty Knight doesn't have her arm. So that's weird to me.
Yes.
Because doesn't she usually have did she have a robot arm at this point? Was it in the shop for repairs?
I thought she had it at this point, unless, I don't know, is it going to be a thing where it's damaged and then she gets a new one? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it was just, but then you'd think you'd just get like a regular prosthetic arm, Because they do make those,
Yeah, exactly.
Not as good, but, it's at least, it's something. But I guess it'd be cumbersome too, Especially if you're used to a fully cybernetic arm. But Iron Fist and Namor fight, and then we cut back to who is this guy in prison?
Yeah, I don't think it has. Why not? I don't think
Smithers. Smithers is the guy in prison and gets the tree delivered in the cake. So I don't know if that's a symbiote or a plant monster, but it's going to be something, I'm sure, for later books. Meanwhile, Mr. Mars buys cocaine, which, Punisher doesn't like. And I don't know what we're supposed to think about this. Was Phoebe Mars just wearing a bikini under her outfit, or is it just black underwear?
I mean, I don't know. It looks like a bikini, but yeah, you never know.
Yeah, and what's weird in that is, like, Namorita is saying, "Oh, that's an appropriate outfit for the Savage Land." Meanwhile, she's wearing a one piece. Yeah,
but are Atlanteans like more durable, or are they like harder to?
Yeah, I guess they're more durable, but still, it's like, when you're going to talk about what someone's wearing, and they make the point about they have very large mosquitoes here.
Yeah, 'cause she catches one that's like bigger than her hand. Yeah.
Yeah, but you just got to hit that with a stick, And I don't know if that's going to be prevented. Like, a mosquito that big, I don't know if a jacket's going to prevent that,
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. We do see Namor and Namorita fighting Danny Rand. We see Danny Rand get a gun pulled on him by Misty Knight. Then Misty Knight shoots Namorita, leading to our big dramatic reveal of Danny Rand having the upper hand now. And that gets us to our next one, which, oh my goodness, what is that cover? It looks like a flaming hand made of rock.
A flaming thing hand? What?
Well, I mean, Iron Fist. It's made of iron. Iron's like rock. I can't imagine this being a spoiler for anything. Meanwhile, we get all of the people that went in to make the UN building, and then we see, this is Meacham's niece, not sister, because it's still Meacham Rand, and she is saying, "Hey, we can drill in the Savage Land because here's Khazar, the king of the Savage Land. I am assuming you don't need ID." He's got a big cat.
Zabu. Yeah, this whole thing was weird to me. This whole plot point, because it's like, okay, I mean, spoilers. This whole plot is to like destroy the Earth. I'm like, if you're really going to destroy the Earth, are you going to take time to argue politics at the UN about, you should let us do whatever we want in the Savage Land?
Well, I guess you don't know how long it's going to take.
Maybe.
And bureaucracies are such, but the fact that they're already there. I mean, although what's weird about that is like the fact that they're already there, and yet no one knew about it. They're having these legal cases at the UN, and no one has notified the Avengers saying, "Hey, Rand Meacham is in the Savage Land drilling for oil or some such."
But again, I wonder if the Avengers are just waiting for, it's like, were they there legally or illegally?
Yeah, well, I mean, that is what you have to understand. Although, I don't know, man. When have they ever filed the paperwork?
But are they? Don't they have like a UN charter at this? Is this at the point they might have a UN charter? The Avengers.
I mean, they might have, but at the same time, clearly the UN's upset about it.
Oh,
You'd think at least they'd be investigating.
I guess maybe. I mean, I could see the Avengers on storming in, but someone like the X-Men would just go in and kick their butts. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. And we do get Meacham picking on Phoebe Mars. And there is this, there is the back and forth between everyone. We have the fact that the cage is not only made of an indestructible metal, which isn't called vibranium. Here they actually say it's the metal that the stuff of the alien,
the machines, the alien machines of the Savage Land.
The horticultural center is made of. Shona the She-Devil finds the Griffin, brings him back. And they use the Griffin's power, along with Namor's might and Namor's might, to break free. Because, they couldn't do that prior to that because there was a magnet on it. And, magnets. No one even knows how those work, Phil.
Yeah, but magnets on alien metal, though.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's even more. How does that work? No one knows. No one knows, Phil. Meanwhile, Philip is back. Philip, he is just bad at he is, like, worse than Meacham. Where he's like buying cocaine and selling off assets to make money to fight Tony Stark for some reason. Then he hits a man with a bottle of champagne. And again, I don't know what his reasoning is. I don't know what the plan is.
You can't tell me I can't sell Namor's company. Haha.
Yeah, I mean it's like Elon Musk written large. I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah, I get political. But hey, depending on what side of this the side of politics you are, you don't know what I feel about Elon Musk. Except that I think he's a lousy person, but maybe I think he's lousy because he's a conservative, or maybe I think he's lousy because he's a liberal.
Well,
you don't know.
I was gonna say he seems to be pissing off both sides, so I think you're pretty. I think you're pretty safe going after him because the left and right don't like him. So right now,
as it turns out, white billionaires with nothing to offer, not a defended minority.
Hey,
even though technically, billionaires are the biggest minority, or the smallest minority.
Hey, man, we need a couple more of them. Then maybe they'll unite the left and right because if they don't help either side, man, they come after you together.
See, I don't like to just focus on the fact that they're billionaires. I like to focus on the fact that they're actually just undeserving idiots who lucked into money.
Well, again, no matter how you come to your money, it depends what you do with it, though. Yeah, and
I guess he's done okay. But I think he's too big for his britches. Like to me, a billionaire who you never heard of is the billionaire you want. It's like, look, man, I make the money, I move money around. I'm not here to make a political statement. I just want your money. And
Yeah.
that, to me, that's a billionaire I can respect.
Or you don't know where their money...
He knows his lane. He does his job. He goes home.
Or you don't know where their money's going, and you're hoping it's going to charity, yeah.
Well, I mean, no. I mean, you can just sit on a big old pile of money for all I care, you know?
Yeah. But, I mean, if you have...
money is worthless. They just print more.
I know.
You know?
But, I mean, if you have $1 billion, hopefully you give something to charity, I hope.
One would imagine one could possibly... that's the thing. It's like at a certain point, $1 billion is such a ridiculous amount that...
Or at least you're going to a restaurant and tipping like 500%. Something.
You'd like to imagine that, but
Yes.
they probably don't.
No.
What I'll actually say is that there is a theory that no one is actually worth $1 billion. Everyone who is a billionaire on paper just basically has a rotating credit line that makes it look like they have $1 billion. And that's actually what's going on with Twitter right now, which is that Musk, instead of having to spend $1 billion to get out of the contract, just took all of his investors' money and is just tanking the company because he really has no use for it. You know, he's going to lose some money, but probably less than $1 billion.
Oh, yes.
Because all of the risk was taken by the investors he lined up. Because that's how you make money, Phil. Spend other people's money.
Exactly.
Yes. Meanwhile, Misty Knight, she's been all hypnotized by this strange... But when did Iron Fist have hypnotic powers and the ability to hit from behind? Well, no, Phil, because actually that's not Iron Fist like you so foolishly assume.
If that cover was too subtle for you, kids.
It was the Super Skrull.
Yep.
What is his name? I forget his name now.
Is it Klurt or it's like
Klurt,
KLRT or something like that, you know.
Yeah, and Misty, she's very shocked by this. I like the fact that they gave her the Grace Jones hair, which is very indicative of the time.
Early 90s, yes.
You know, that's the thing. Now she's got the big fro again because everything 70s. It's like it all comes back. But you know, I think she looked good with the high top. You know, Grace Jones was a style icon. I will always respect that. She gets out her 357 and you know, Super Skrull's like, I have the power of the Human Torch. Bullets don't bother me. And we get into the big fight. Namor and Namorita and Shauna the She-Devil are fighting the hired thugs, who they did bother to dress up in fascist garb, which is a little odd when you think about it, because did they need to do that? I mean, you know, it's like they're just. I mean, literally, this is probably just the work crew. You know, I don't know if any of them are really actually soldiers. Like a few seasons ago, they were just talking about how the laser shovels are so great.
I mean, if an evil mastermind pays you enough, man, I guess you're dressing however you want at once, you know?
Yeah. We see, you know, he's using all the powers of the Fantastic Four. Meanwhile, Philip Mars
gets a visit from the Punisher.
Oh, yeah. Because he's selling drugs for some reason. Like, what was the end game with this, Philip?
More money.
This is what concerns me, because in this, we do see that because I thought, that's Kazar is just Skrulls in hiding, but no, that's actually supposed to be Kazar. And I guess he's just been hypnotized by the Skrull, which I guess is, I guess that's the thing. And they basically say, well, I guess technically, although, man, how is the Savage Land a kingdom just because it has one white dude who says he's king? I mean, not to put too fine a point on it, but to say the Savage Land is a sovereign kingdom under the rule of Kevin Plunder. There's actually lots of different creatures that live there. There's the freaking pterodactyl people. Maybe someone should ask the pterodactyl people what they think.
I mean,
I don't think they elected Kevin Plunder.
I mean, there are like humans there, but I don't know if they elected him or not. And it's like, do you really want to elect the white man with the last name of Plunder?
Never. Hey, you know, it's a family name.
I know.
He's not. Generally speaking, he's not trying to plunder. Although for some reason now he is. So I get the feeling that gets resolved in later issues. Unfortunately, my Marvel Unlimited account only goes so far.
Yeah, there's a big gap, kids. After this, it jumps like right to 47 or something.
Yeah, which is weird. It's like, come on, Marvel, just like give us the stories.
Just keep going.
You know, it makes you wonder sometimes, like, was there like some kind of weird renegotiation contract where it's like, oh yeah, and if we ever come up with some digital way to distribute comics, we'll pay you a lot more.
The theory I heard, the most credible theory I've heard is like one that they give precedent to stuff that's collected in trades or stuff that's like part of a crossover, because I think the stuff where they skip to next is part of the like a Star Blast crossover or something. So
anyway, in this one they basically have Meacham, and honest, it's just a little sad, really, because like
for a lot of for not one mustache on any of these villains, man, they sure are twirling the mustaches and chewing the scenery. It's like, haha, let me tell you my evil scheme.
Well, as a former mustache aficionado, I am growing back. I got my Van Dyke going again.
Ooh, nice.
It's baby still. It's coming back. But, you know, where they basically just say, he'll give me the most beautiful woman in the Skrull galaxy. And they're like, you know, first off, the statement, they'll give me a planet to rule over, my own planet. It's like, okay, but did you say, but not Earth because you're destroying it? You know, because they could just, hey, there's your planet, man. Enjoy. Or you can have Mars. Okay, we can give you Mars, and we'll give you the prettiest Skrull in town. And that's basically how they get him to freak out, because it's like, who's going to be the most beautiful woman in the galaxy? To a Skrull? Oh no, it'll be a lizard lady, which I'm totally not into. Oh my. Because not for nothing, you see the last panel, and you do see the Skrull Queen in this.
Oh yeah, I mean, basically, she's, you know, she looks like an attractive woman. She's just green, got that chin and the pointed ears. That's, you know, besides that, I mean, she looks like an attractive Earth woman, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of the problem with the entire argument is, you know.
Well, they psych them out. They're like, I don't know, what are their standards for beauty?
And I love the fact that like he's like, what are you talking about? We weren't going to betray you. We're going to fulfill everything, man. You found some other mammal creature that you want to stick your hootie-hoo in? Go right ahead.
And again, too, if you're in a committed, loving relationship, I mean, you are with a partner who is a shapeshifter and who can alter their form if they so choose.
I mean, honestly, yeah. To be honest, yeah. I mean, let's be clear here. Skrull lady, that's the best lady, you know. It's like, yeah, you know, okay, you know what, hon? I really want to go crazy tonight. Why don't this time you be the big spoon, I'll be the little spoon. You know, it's
right, just you don't like the chin? Go on.
No, it's like whatever, man. Although, you know, I would assume that'd be rough for the gal.
Yeah.
You know, although truth be told, I mean that's sort of the irony of it is it could just be another Skrull.
But I
don't know what the genders are in Skrulls. Like, we seem to have male and female Skrulls, but do we really have gendered Skrulls?
Maybe they choose at a certain age. Who knows?
Well, you know, they all got coacula.
Yeah.
That's established because they're an egg-laying species. So.
But yeah, no, my whole thing was, did she have a choice? Because it almost seemed like an arranged marriage. It's like, oh, this Earth man's going to help us destroy Earth, so, you know, you have to marry this guy as, like, his reward.
It's a living.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, that's the thing. It's like, if you're some Skrull peasant lady, and they say, you got to marry this mammal. It's like, really? Hey, man, we all got to do our part, man. I fought and died against the Fantastic Four like twice, so I think you can deal with a freaking loudmouth schnook Earthling. They only live 100 years at most. And this one's like already in his 30s, so, you know, you got 70 years. We all live 200. You'll be fine. You'll get the planet, whatever planet we give him. We'll pick a nice planet because you'll be rolling. It's fine.
You know how many years I spent in a farmer's field as a cat, stuck as a cow?
Exactly. You know, it's like there are worse fates, trust me, than having to deal. Although, I mean, I guess he is Meacham. So.
I was stricken down by the Lord of Evil, Reed Richards of Earth.
Yes. Oh, Richards. Man, we got entire planets cursing your name. It's like, Doom, don't front. It's like you got no idea how mad everyone is at you. Although Meacham gets a bad... I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know what Meacham's doing now, but he does not end this episode well.
No.
Because he becomes a Human Torch at this.
Well, I was going to say he's dead, isn't he? Because the Super Skrull fries him.
I hope so. I mean, that's the sad part. Is like I was like, wait, I didn't see him stop breathing, you know. But yeah, I mean, not for nothing, that man. Like, you look at that Empress of the Skrulls. I don't know if you can see her on here, kids, but she's one hot tamale in green and purple. I mean, she doesn't even have a chin. I mean, she's got like three nipples. Not three nipples. Sorry.
If she wants.
She's got like three butt chins, so it's like, it's not bad. And
that's not the worst Skrull chin I've ever seen. No,
it's like it's very, you know, she got the pointy ears and she's green.
I mean, if you squint, that looks like Jennifer Walters. Come on.
It could easily be. Well, this is a John Byrne.
Exactly.
And next episode is 9 Wives, which we don't get to read, so I don't even know who the 9 Wives refers to. But that was Namor.
Yes.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, so did I. I love when Super Skrull's like bragging. He's like, I have the powers of all the Fantastic Four who've beaten you. Haha. And Namor's like, oh, what a boast. You know, you have all this power and you've been beaten every single time by everyone you've ever fought on Earth. Okay. Haha.
Yeah, well, it's like, like, weren't you beaten by the Fantastic Four?
Exactly. He was beaten by Joe Fixit. He was beaten by the Fantastic Four. I don't know if it was Joe Fixit.
Well, I mean,
yet,
Joe
but...
Fixit's technically a Hulk, so, you know. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like the Super Skrull. He is a jabroni. He is a jabroni. But speaking of Skrulls, Phil, did you read Secret Invasion?
Yes, I did. The new Secret Invasion #1. Yes, we're doing this again.
The new Secret Invasion, which
because there's a show coming soon.
I know that, and that's like what is like. Is this an MCU based comic, or is it a Marvel Comics based comic?
I think it's a Marvel-based comic, because didn't Maria Hill say something like, oh yeah, remember the last Skrull invasion? And
yeah,
if you look at the Avengers at the end, you know, you got Echo as Phoenix.
Yeah, so I guess this is comic book, but
yeah.
But that also just opens up so many other questions for me, because, quite frankly, it's like, oh, so one of the Avengers is a Skrull again.
I know.
But because they have gender-neutral bathrooms, which is like...
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I'm not fighting it. I think that's just going to result in Tony Stark doing a lot of sexual harassment. That's the thing. If Tony Stark wasn't an Avenger, I'd say that's fine, because I think most of the other Avengers are respectful, decent people. But I get the feeling that Tony Stark's going to be the kind of guy who walks around without a towel. A lot.
I don't know about that, but I can see him asking for a lot of dates in there. Like, oh, hey, since we ran into each other at the sink here, hey, what are you doing Saturday?
Yeah, anyway, I do like the start of this. I do like it's interesting because there's a lot of back and forth and double cross, which is really great for a Secret Invasion story.
Mm-hmm.
We get the idea that this family has called Nick Fury because they think the father of the family was a Skrull when he died, and you get this conversation between Maria and Nick Fury about this family who believed that someone was a Skrull, that their parent was a Skrull, but then we realized that, oh no, they just took the image of this family from a photograph exactly, which again...
down to the clothes.
I mean, that just... Look, I'm not here to tell Skrull's spycraft, but you're in a house that likely has clothes in it. Put on a new outfit,
or at least alter the color of the clothing.
Yeah, I mean, just cut your. Yeah, well, you know, like I said, because the thing is that those clothes are presumably just them.
Yes.
Like, rather than wearing a hat, they make a hat out of their head. Because that was a fun thing in Howard the Duck, where the woman who had Skrull powers, that was Howard's sidekick, was like just made a big hat for herself. And there was like, why does my head hurt so much? It's because you're not wearing a hat. That's just your head. You're exposing it to all the solar radiation. You gave yourself a sunburn on your head. That's all you did. Anyway, moving right along. But we do see that and that's an interesting question, because do they capture and kill Nick Fury, or do they just steal his DNA?
I mean, it seemed like they just had him locked up, right?
I mean, that seems.
We see all these fake Nick Furies, so.
Yeah, we see all the fake Nick Furies, which we can presume they replicated. But, like, did they kill him then? Because it does seem to me like, and that was the thing, and that's what, like, shocked me, like, whoa, did they just kill Nick Fury Jr.? But then again, at the same time, if they killed Nick, it's like, but maybe they didn't, because maybe they just
or is it going to be like MCU Captain America? They're not going to say what happened to Nick Fury Jr. until maybe the TV show comes out, and then, you know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sure they'll get to it eventually,
yes.
And it'll be exciting. But it's like, obviously, you know, and that's the thing, because they have the Skrull captured, and now we're gonna. So maybe, arguably, the next issue will be Nick Fury captured.
Yes.
In the Skrull. So the Skrulls have Nick Fury in the bottle. Because that's the thing about the Skrulls, though. They can't do Nick Fury replications until they establish that Nick Fury's back out, because now everyone knows Nick Fury's a Skrull.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting, fun idea here that everyone knows Nick Fury's a Skrull. So no one's going to trust Nick Fury until they can establish that Nick Fury is not a Skrull. But how do you establish Nick Fury is not a Skrull? That's the difficult thing. Okay. Do you have any Avengers books you want to talk about, Phil?
Did you read Savage Avengers?
Of course I read Savage Avengers.
$20.99!
You know, this was good.
Mm-hmm.
I love who they get out.
Oh, at the end? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great reveal, because they're like, oh, no. We found someone who can get us out of here. Because they're looking for time travel technology. And, oh, by the way, just a weird thing. I just saw the cover, because they have a solicitation for the cover of Golden Goblin 2.
Yes.
Is that Norman Osborn's new costume?
I guess it's him trying to be a good guy, you know, because he said he didn't want to put a goblin suit back on because he doesn't want the old, you know, to be tempted by old habits, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I do like them fighting through the cyberverse and, you know, basically digitally destroying things. And I like when they get back and everyone's just in a VR goggle. So that was fun.
How about Death Doc?
Oh, Death Doc is really fun. We all love Death Doc. A Deathlock assimilated MODOK. Because what else are you going to do with your MODOK? And he's actually more than, quite frankly, a threat for them. Although he does face some troubles when he sends all of the Hulk's hate into Venom. He's like, man, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry. And, you know, our heroes do get through. Cloak releases the Jake Gallows from his cloak, which is great. That's always fun. So everybody gets pew-pewed, and then we get to the person they need to break out, which is Doom 2099.
Yes.
Who isn't Victor Von Doom, but just some random dude who got put in the, what's his name? The Christopher machine.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, he's just a guy who has been imprinted with Doom's memories.
Although, I mean, the timeline's been altered, right? Because I don't remember Ultrons and Deathlocks before, so, I mean, with the timeline altered, could this be Doom?
I mean, it could be a time-displaced Doom, which is what Doom thought he was originally.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
You know, but at the same time, that was like one of the interesting points in that was that he comes back and he realizes he's Doom, but he knows he's in this thing. And then when he comes across Tiger, and they say, "Well, we remember that Doom's face was horribly scarred, so let's rectify the situation," as they say, which they always do whenever Doom has a nice face. So it could be Doom, but even if it's just a guy who has all of Doom's knowledge, that includes how to build a freaking time machine. You know, and if the machine actually transfers Doom's genius, which we can assume it does, based on what Doom 2099 was able to do, we can assume Doom 2099 is actually and it's usually what it usually is it's the better Doom because it's all of the best parts of Doom because it's the parts of Doom he wrote down. That's why Doom 2099 can be heroic because even though he's Doom, he's only the parts of Doom that Doom wanted you to know about. So it's the noble Doom. It's the comic book Doom.
Exactly.
Which is why he's the best Doom. Doom 2099. All right, Phil.
Oh, speaking of a version of Doom, did you read She-Hulk?
Oh, yes. Oh, gosh. Doombots.
I have a glitch. I am doomed.
Yeah, well, but it's an interesting thing. Although I actually liked the whole. So we have two. We have an A plot and a B plot. One is Victor Mancha, who is a cyborg, who is working with a Doombot, who is it? And this is the thing. I get the feeling the idea of Doombots that gain sentience are actually a bigger problem than people think about. Because Doom makes these things flawless. If they're flawless, they're all going to gain sentience. It's like Max Fury, It's like anytime you make a robot that thinks it's a person, eventually it's going to gain some level of self-awareness. And
Doom really knows how to copy that ego.
Yeah. I do like the Jack of Hearts and She-Hulk stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting given where we know this goes because this is all pre the latest issues of the Fantastic Four. But I do like Dr. Doom in a suit. That's nice. And of course he keeps on saying I am Doom. Although why someone would prosecute a robot for Doom's crimes? I mean, just basic jurisprudence would say that you can't do that. It would be much more like the smarter thing to do would be to get a civil commitment on the robot as a Doom, because as a Doom he is going to be a narcissistic sociopath. So I'm looking forward to what Jen Walters' argument is going to be if she ever gets to it, because of course she goes to speak with April, whose husband Mark is also a Gamma monster. You will recall. And then we find out that actually, no, they were the villains all along, because they captured She-Hulk to put her into the containment vessel, because they need to figure out how to de-Gamma Mark, I'm guessing that's the plan, or they're going to figure out how to take She-Hulk's ability to be a well-balanced human being and put it into Mark. I don't know if that's possible, Phil.
Look at Bruce Banner. Yeah, it's not always possible.
No. Okay, have any other books you want to talk about tonight?
I'm good.
You're good?
Yep.
Okay. Quick shout out to Damage Control. Which
yes! Yes, I did read that.
This week, it's Thor versus Trenton. Which is literally just a guy who happened upon some old Atalan tech that had Terrigen crystals in it, and he had like that 1/5 Inhuman going for him, and became Trenton.
A fish monster, a giant fish monster, yeah.
Yeah, as you do. And Thor picks a fight with him, as you do. Then we also get this fun sideline here where Hammerhead and the Tarantula, the Tarantula thought he wanted a money laundering business, and he bought him a laundromat. Which, okay, it sounds stupid, but actually laundromats are perfect money laundering facilities because they are often an all cash business. That actually a laundromat would be a money laundering operation. So, just saying, they were trying for a joke, but it didn't really work out if you don't want anything about money laundering. Anyway, they burn it up because they want to get that sweet
insurance money.
Yeah, the whole because it's actually like I guess supposed to be a fund for damage caused by superheroes, except that they're too far out. It's a water-based villain. Why is he using fire? Also, it's a wah act of God. Because Thor's a god. Meanwhile, our friend Gus is not set out for search and rescue. And he gets turned into a hamster. But they're going to try and turn him back before next issue, when we're going to deal with supervillains. Yay! So that was fun. That was Damage Control. All right, Philip, that was my comics this week. We've read your comics this week, and so let us call it a night. Philip,
right.
How can people find us? How can they get wonderful merch or give us free money for no good reason?
Well, if you want to talk to us, you can always email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or you can call the voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And as I say that, I was reminding myself that I should tell people what we're reading for next time, so they can send feedback. All right, here we go. Yes, the next 2 weeks, kids, we're going to finish out this month with some Black Panther. Yes, there's a 12-issue series from 2009. We're going to do Black Panther 1 through 6 next week, and then 7 through 12 the week after. Yes, that's the 2009 series. So, yes, send us your thoughts on that or the movie, because we'll be covering that on Capes and Lunatics.
Covering the movie.
Mm-hmm. So, yes.
It's going to be glorious.
Like I said, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com or 614-382-2737. I can find Avengers Declassified on Facebook, on Twitter, find links to all the various social medias for all of our shows, the YouTube channel, please subscribe there. Most importantly, the Patreon, subscribe to that. We get early access to creator interviews. You're about to hear the finale of the worst superhero movie of all time, and you can vote on what we're going to do in 2023 on the Patreon. And merch, Capes and Lunatics and Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks merch, and just a random Cash App link if you want to rain money on us. Find it all at Linktree, linktr.ee/Capes and Lunatics. And the most important, the most valuable treasure of all, Charlie Esser, where can people talk to you?
Well, you can always write to me in that old-fashioned email way, the way our mothers and fathers once did at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. And, of course, follow me on the Twitters. I live tweet things when I get around to it, when I feel like it, @CharlieEsser. That's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing!
Thank you, Maz. Dear friends, you have come to the end of another episode of Avengers Declassified. Know that the information you have received today, well declassified, is still just between us. Do not tell your friends the secrets we have revealed. Tell them to download the podcast themselves. And this podcast will self-destruct eventually.
That's right. Find out about Namor for all your friends are talking about him.
Namor.
Oh, Namor.
Namor.
Or
Nate Moore.
Hi, I'm Russell.
And I'm Justin.
And we're from the
Hold up. Listen up, you nerds. Tired of being a little goody two-shoes? Had enough of always talking about acts of courage and heroism? Well, you have come to the right place, I guess. Tomes of Evil is the comic book supervillain podcast, where every month we do a deep dive on a different comic book supervillain, as well as multiple sub-series on some of the most iconic foes of all time, including Darkseid, Doctor Doom, Scarecrow, and...
Name's Hobgoblin, and you're right on time for your funeral.
I better be getting paid for this. So what are you guys waiting for? Bring on the bad guys.
Tomes of Evil, a comic book villain podcast.